Gates Adams here on behalf of Apex Trader Funding. I am here today with Ravi. Ravi, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, thanks. I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today. Obviously, you are here because you have had some success with Apex Trader Funding and I believe, received your first payout. Is that correct?
Yeah, I received my first payout a couple weeks ago, or
Excellent.
a
Well,
week and a half ago, actually.
yeah, congratulations on that. The reason that we do these interviews, of course, is because this is where everybody wants to get to. Whether they're new traders, experienced traders, when they first start off with a funding company, the goal, of course, is to be in the money, just like anything else in revolving as it revolves around trading. And so it's just nice to be able to share some of those experiences with some of the other traders that are taking a look at some options. So first of all, let's talk a little bit. Let's get a little history on you and your experience trading. First of all, how long have you been trading?
So trading, stocks and options for probably over 6 years. Stocks forever, right? For like over a decade.
Gotcha.
But futures has been relatively new, about I would say 6 to 8 months.
Okay. Okay. So now, is this what you do for a living, or is this kind of that side thing?
It's the side thing.
Gotcha.
I try on that side. So I do have a full-time job where I focus on during the day on that stuff. So.
Sure. Okay. We have a lot of traders and a lot of the guys that I talk to, or a lot of the folks that I talk to, I should say, they tend to trade the morning session when things are really kind of just moving the fastest. With your schedule, working a traditional, having a traditional work schedule, I should say, are you trading the morning session as well, or are you in a different schedule?
Nope, I trade exactly the morning session. So I'll typically start my day at 9:15, and at 10 a.m. my laptop for trading, or my desktop rather, is turned off, and I'm done on the day.
Quick
Um,
45 minutes.
Quick 45 minutes. If I find something I like it, I'll take it. Otherwise, I won't. I get myself in trouble if I go past 10 a.m.
Gotcha. We don't want anybody getting in trouble.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you started off, you said, with stocks about 10 years
Yeah,
ago?
stocks, trading stocks, but typically the buy and hold version, not like day
Sure.
trading or anything.
Okay.
I'll do short-term trade based on different kind of indicators, and if it's oversold, overbought, just for a couple of percent over a couple of days, kind of thing. But
Right.
nothing too crazy.
Okay. What ended up moving you into the realm of futures?
I like the volatility. I like the fact that you can hold them for a minute or less at a time and still get some good movement in the
Sure.
markets on that. The other piece was also I've been following. I work with a company that provides proprietary indicators.
Okay.
And they use that owner uses Apex, and he really recommended it. So I use them for more of the options side of things, and also the equity side of things.
Mhm.
But that's how I got into futures.
Gotcha. Okay. So now, how long have you actually been trading with Apex Trader Funding?
I started around Christmas, I think. It was a couple of days before Christmas. I started with my first evaluation account at that time.
So for context, since this is being recorded and could be viewed
Yeah,
years from now, it's the beginning of February. So we're talking
6 weeks,
6 weeks or so,
six,
and
7 weeks.
you've already had that first payout. That's, I'm not going to say it's a record, but that's certainly one of the quicker ones that I've certainly seen. And I think a lot of that probably stems from the fact that there's some experience, there's some background there.
Hmm.
Um, and the transition. So let's talk about that transition before Apex Trader Funding. And if you have, not necessarily mentioning any names, but were you working with any sort of prop or funding company prior to Apex?
I tried one last summer. It
Mhm.
just wasn't my thing,
Mhm.
on the way they did it, and I enjoyed actually having the flexibility of trading on my own in that sense. There's too many different caveats to it, and it's like when you have too many rules, they're meant to be broken at that point.
Right, right. And of course, since they're the ones making the rules and they're the ones who are designing the structure, breaking them doesn't seem to be an option if you want to continue.
Exactly, and it was rather expensive too. I mean,
Right.
when you get started on at your first eval, I don't think the point is always just to pass it all. It is, obviously, that's the goal, but
Mhm.
it's to learn, right?
Sure.
It's like, how does this company work? What are the rules? Am I abiding by them? It's a learning experience, and that's what my first eval was for me. So
Sure. Now, At this point, obviously, you're trading with Apex Trader Funding. What is the biggest difference that you've noticed with them versus who you were working with before?
The ability to have multiple accounts and how easy it is to scale out with that.
Mhm.
When we talk about $50 or $100 a day, it's not a big sum. And it's like, am I really going to sit here for 45 minutes just to make that? But when you scale that out to 20 funded accounts, that's a really nice day, right?
Sure.
So that's the huge difference. A lot of other firms, they don't have that, or if they do, it's like hidden. It's hard to use. It's not
Mhm.
really straightforward. But I bought the trade copier too, which makes it much easier on that side. So I think that's one of the biggest things that allows you to really scale and get that opportunity.
Now, we talk about scaling. There's, of course, multiple ways of scaling. And the traditional method is instead of trading 20 accounts, you trade 20 contracts or 20 times as many contracts. What's the difference for you in utilizing the system in different accounts versus just getting one big account that can handle a higher level of contracts?
I don't trade for a couple of ticks, right? I typically hold for 5, 10, 20, 25 points.
Mhm.
And so if I traded, let's say 5 or 10 contracts and they went backwards, I could
Mhm.
blow that account in literally one trade.
And there it is.
So I do, I do trade micros and minis. It depends on the day, the volatility, the volume. I'll alternate. I'll always start off with micros, and then if the first two trades went well, just as a test, then I'll move on to minis and say, okay, my system's working today.
Great. Great. Now, obviously, this has been a part of your life for a significant period of time, 10 years at this point. What for you is the difference in trading a funded account versus just making that deposit into your own account and trading your own funds?
I think the good thing about trading a funded account is that you have a stop. You
Mhm.
can obviously blow your funded account, but also you have to manage your risk and you manage your drawdown properly. When it's your own money, and let's say you have 25K in there, because obviously if you're trading at even one NQ, you'd want that much.
Sure.
Um, you kind of be like, oh no, I'm going to come out of this. I'm going to come out of this. And the market's going the exact opposite way. And you're just really buying, holding and hoping kind of thing.
Mhm.
So that's the big benefit around that. It's like you got to cut your losses, refresh, start again, or just call it a day if it's not going your way.
Almost a forced discipline.
Force discipline.
Yeah,
And that's the hardest thing in trading,
it
discipline.
is.
If you have discipline, you can make a ton of money because you only need to be right 60, 70% of the time. But when you're wrong, if you walk away, you're not going to be wrong, very deep.
No. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Um, and are you fully maxed out now? You've got the full 20 accounts?
I do not. I do not. I ran into a little bit of hiccups, along the way, and partly that's because I lost my own discipline over the past 2 weeks. But the good thing is, I got had the coupon codes when the renewals coming up, so I'm waiting on my renewals to get back to, get to my idea of 20. My goal is by about mid-March to late March, get all 20 funded.
Excellent. Excellent. Now, at this point, obviously, you've got some experience on your own. You've got some experience with different types of instruments, and you've obviously relatively freshly, but already achieving a level of success, have some experience trading in a funded account. If you're talking to a new trader who's they've surpassed the paper trading level, and they're looking
Mhm.
at moving into that next phase, which for a lot of us is that evaluation. What's the biggest piece of advice you give to somebody who's moving down that road?
Size down, big time. Like even
Mhm.
if you get the 25K account, $1,500 drawdown is a significant amount. You
Mhm.
can last a long time and really learn your system if you wanted to. It's real trading, right? It's not paper trading anymore. Paper trading, you make your own rules. Kind of, you're like, yeah, I would have traded that. Would you have? That's the question. So size down. Don't start off with. I trade, as I said, NQ, so Nasdaq futures. Don't start off with NQ. Go with one MNQ. I know each point is only $2 or so. It's
Mhm.
okay. Make $10 on the day and make $10 consistently. Then you size up to 2 MNQs, then 3, and then you'll start making some significant amounts going off of that, especially if you're a brand new trader into this. The other piece is don't get bogged down with 50 different technical instruments, right? Pick the 2 or 3 that will really work for you, whether it's MACD or it's a exponential moving average or a simple moving, whatever the combination is. Stick to about 2 or 3 and use that as a system. When you do 50, what you get is analysis paralysis, and you've already missed the trade at this point, because the market in the futures market moves pretty quickly.
Especially NQ.
Especially in Q, yeah. So I don't trade ES or anything just because I know myself. I'm not as patient. I want the trade to occur. I want to see where it's going because, you know, NQ can move 10 points in literally under a minute. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think that's absolutely great advice. And it's also pretty consistent with what I hear from those who are achieving the level of success, which is, you know, slow and steady. Don't be in a rush. Just do what you need to do to, you know, baby step your way into success. Because I think that's one of the beautiful things about trading is to earn more money or to achieve a higher level of success doesn't take more time. It doesn't take squeezing in more trades in a more finite amount of time. You have that option to scale almost infinitely, but of course within a certain level of confines when you're working with a funded account. But given all of the options that are available, it's a pretty big box. So
The other piece I'll add to that is look at the possibility, but don't go for the possibility. What I mean by that is there's a lot of people making, let's say they have 10 funded accounts making $500 a day. You know, that's $5,000 a day. Don't try to get that $5,000 a day on the one account because you're still learning, right? So just know that it's possible when you get really good at it. You have to study, you have to practice your system and really be disciplined on your system. If you go try something new just because someone on YouTube is going live with it, it's not going to work for you. It's going to go backwards. And do not ever take anyone's trades. If someone's trading and you're following them, just because they are doesn't mean you should, because they have their own systems. They have their own, you know, targets to get out. They have their own stop losses. Don't go for them.
right. I think that's phenomenal advice. And I think that just a great opportunity for people to have a fresh look at what it means to move into this world, because it can be daunting, it can be overwhelming, it can be scary, it can be a whole lot of things, but it doesn't have to be if you just take it one step at a time.
Yep.
So great. Any last minute thoughts, words of wisdom?
Don't get beaten down if you you know, fail a couple of evals and stuff like that. Remember, this isn't a get rich quick scheme at all. This is something that's consistent every day. It's a little bit every day, and that every day is going to compound, and it's going to turn into something big by the end of the year. So don't expect to make like $50,000 just because someone else on Apex is doing it. They've been doing this for a decade. They know what they're doing, right? You'll get there, but start small. Start with $5 a day.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, congratulations on your success. We're going to continue to do these as we move forward, and we'd love the opportunity to hear back from you a little, maybe an update after another few payouts, and just kind of see how everything's progressing for you. Does that sound good?
That sounds perfect.
Excellent, Ravi. Well, I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you back here in short order. Have a great rest of your day.